2, 1. You're on.
All right, and we are back with StebMcDreb. Oh, I'm sorry for messing up your name there a little bit. With No Straight Roads. I just want to remind everybody that we are raising money for the Trevor Project. We have some really cool incentives coming up. The next one being Newtopia 2. You get to name the hero. We also have Beatmania 2DX, and that's to play the really hard songs, and that's all what we like is just that really hard gameplay. And then Super Monkey Ball, we have an extra bonus run that we're still raising that incentive money for. So definitely get your bids in, your incentives in, and yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pass it off to you, Steph. Good luck, and I'm excited to see it.
Okay, thank you very much. I have had about 2.5 hours of sleep, so if I immediately beef this run, it's entirely my fault. I'm sorry. But yeah, this is No Straight Roads. Don't worry, those weird hitches you're seeing, that is on my end. Don't worry about it. My computer is weird. Yeah, basically this is a kind of like, sort of boss rush focused, like, 3D brawler platformer type of thing that's basically about you're an indie rock band in a city that gets its electricity from music, and you have to take down the evil EDM government, basically. And actually, before the run starts, I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to real quick demonstrate one of the main techs we're going to be using, because I'm not going to have a chance to show it off and succinctly show it during the run. I'm just going to real quick show off jump cancels here with this character Zook. Basically, he's the drummer, and he has a sort of combo mechanic, and that's his regular attack speed. But basically, by cancelling his first attack with a jump, and then cancelling that jump with another combo, we for some reason get a bunch of attack speed. So instead of attacking like this, we attack like this. So that's going to be our main form of melee DPS throughout the run. You might occasionally see me get my timing wrong, which will look like this. If I just end up standing there and doing that a lot, then that means I am currently messing up my jump cancels. But anyway, so this is the all boss rematches category, which basically means we're going to be skipping all of the story stuff and just sort of refighting all of the main bosses, starting conveniently enough with the final boss, Tatiana, because she is the only boss that does not have her own fast travel point, so it's faster to do her now than having to run all the way back and do it later. So, yeah, well, I'm going to count down from 5 to start the timer, and then when I hit hijack concert, the time is going to start. Okay, so it's going to be 5 to 1, then go. Okay, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And we're playing video games. Okay, so I'm just going to sort of just do some initial movement up to the boss. Each boss has this kind of preamble. We get in the elevator. Normally, in the main story, there'd be like a big minute-long like cutscene here of Tatiana like just saying stuff, but thankfully we skipped that in the refight. We are playing with the Japanese audio, and basically we have to hit this cog thing to like try and like annoy Tatiana and make her come down and like start fighting us. We're going to be doing very specific attacks here with Mayday to try and manipulate the position of the cog so that it will be in a favorable place so that we can get closer to her and start damaging her even sooner. We did not get the cycle that we wanted. If I do that cog cycle optimally, then Tatiana will begin this phase by teleporting straight to us, which will let me get a little bit of extra damage in, but that did not happen, whatever. Basically, as we do damage, we build up a key projectile, and then we will have to launch that at her. I have immediately messed this up because for some reason the game would not let me charge attack. So our positioning for this cog is not going to be quite optimal. We're going to be getting an attack there, but at least we are going to be moving on to the second phase with not too much issue. That only loses a few seconds. And there is me beefing my first jump cancel of the run. Get used to seeing that, it's going to be happening a lot. Thankfully, Zook jump cancels with a bunch of melee damage buffs do end up making pretty quick work of basically any enemy in this game, including the final boss here. 3, 4, and a charge attack, and there we go. So yeah, if we'd done that right, then the cog should have been back up at the top there, and Zook would be in position to just switch back to him and immediately start going on Tatiana. This is aside from the cog cycle shenanigans, this boss is relatively simple. It's pretty much just a matter of getting your jump cancels right. And now we have to sort of wait a little bit for this, like, before the final phase starts. So it basically just be, by standing still, we can build up special energy. That's an ability that we have, so we can do this and just farm up a bunch of energy so that we can open the next phase with some projectile attacks. And maybe, like, and hopefully iframe through Tatiana's first attack and then finish off with a simple jump cancel combo. So we have plenty of energy here. Just gonna do a quick jump cancel thing there and then throw out some projectiles. Did not manage to iframe through, but whatever, the end result is more or less the same. And then we finish the boss, we hit that showstopper, and then we quit back out to Vinyl City, which basically means we don't have to watch the big finisher cutscene and like sit through the results screen, and also means that the game doesn't technically mark the fight as being done, so we get to keep our stickers, our stat upgrades and such, because normally those go away after finishing 3 boss fights. So basically this way we can actually repeatedly do runs without having to keep farming for the best stickers. Can you play on the side of EDM? Not really, no. Well, I mean, there's some plot stuff about that. I'll try my hardest not to spoil the actual plot of this game. Anyway, now we're going to be going into the next boss fight, Eve, who is the second to last boss. The optimal order for this category is basically just reverse boss order. So Eve is basically Zook, our drummer's, like, ex-college girlfriend, essentially. And for her boss fight, we're going to be utilizing a lot of parry attacks. So basically, if we get our timing right, we're going to be able to just melt through these phases. Whenever you finish a phase, she's going to try and go through, like, those panes of glass that you see there, but if we manage to get a lot of attacks in before the corridor, like, extends, then we'll be able to save a bunch of time. You also saw there I transformed a turret. By pressing triangle, you can transform things in the world. Mayday's transformations are usually more like turret and damage based, and I messed that up completely. The parry locked me into an animation, which meant that I couldn't hit the glass pane as soon as I wanted to. But yeah, basically, most times we get a chance to use level 3 turrets with Mayday, we're going to do it. Zook's turrets are more sort of like, generally they'll give you like healing or some other kind of temporary stat buff or whatever, but Mayday's, especially level 3, do a lot of damage. So basically that's that done, and now we actually do have to watch this cutscene because there is some gameplay after the showstopper finisher. Oh, by the way, I know the music is kind of muffled right now. This fight just does that sometimes. I don't know why, it just does. So yeah, basically they're gonna do like a finishing attack on Eve, and it's gonna be like, yeah, you're all triumphant, and yeah, but then there's a little bit more gameplay that we have to do for this fight. There are 2 bosses that involve this. There's Eve, and then there's gonna be Yinu, who is not the next boss, but the one after. I'm gonna skip this cutscene, and now basically, oh, my game? Hello? Okay. What happened there? My game just froze for like a solid 3 or 4 seconds. I'm very confused by that. So yeah, basically Eve just got pretty sad and sat in a void for a bit, and Zook had to go reconcile with her. So yeah, basically we're gonna get another one of like these kinds of cutscenes. Bunkbed Junction, by the way, that is the name of our indie rock duo, the In-Universe band. So yeah, basically, and then this cutscene starts, we quit back out to Vinyl City, and we're good. And so now we need to find a telephone in the overworld, which is, I know where it is, but like, actually, like, getting to it is always tricky. Okay, there we go. No, interact with the teleporter. Okay, and now we're gonna go to Baraka Mansion to fight 1010, which are one of the more annoying bosses, but they are also one of the only bosses in this category that we have an entire phase skip for. So hopefully this goes well. If it doesn't, then that's going to waste like a minute, but at least we can like read some donations during that minute if we have any. I'll let you know how things go. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a bunch of damage to yellow just to end this first phase, and then get as much damage in on blue as we can. We can see there that Zook is trying to gain energy during the cutscene. That's what we want. That's optimal. And so now we're going to be killing these robots, these like android K-pop boys basically. And we're going to be using their turrets in a specific way to try and skip through directly to the final phase of the boss against their manager, Neon J. Okay, so if we parry red here, and then do a bunch of damage to... then do a 3-hit combo on yellow, and now we're going to parry red again, and then do a 3-hit combo on green. And then we transform red to a level 2 turret. And I've completely messed this up. I let go of the transformation slightly too early. I think if we transform this one to a level 2, we'll probably be fine. Okay, now we stand in this unused turret. Oh, that has actually somehow worked exactly how it's supposed to. Get another boomerang attack going. We hit Neon J, and this should hit the skip. Yes, that is actually perfect. Okay, so now the game is going to try and play this cutscene to go into the final phase. We can't quite skip it, but at least the game's still leaving us with control, means we can idle for a bit more energy. We can skip from there, and now we're in the final phase of the boss fight. This skip has been in the game since day 1, and they've tried to patch it out, but we found a different version. And I might have done this attack a bit too late. Oh, still got the parry, that's excellent. Okay, so now we're just going to sort of unload projectiles into this guy, hit the showstopper, and leave. That was a perfect 10-10. Oh my goodness, I don't know how I managed to recover from that. Alright, okay. Also, yeah, thanks to RS Jacket, who's another NSR runner in the chat, for pointing out the positioning on the 10-10 robots in Phase 1 is actually RNG. Whether I hit, like, green first or yellow first, or if I don't get to hit any of them at all and the skip is just impossible, is completely down to RNG. So anyway, they are done, and now we're going to moving on to the fight against Yinu, who's basically a 9-year-old with a piano. That's what you do in this game. You beat up children with hobbies. It's kind of... You're kind of not being very nice here, at least for this one fight, but it's like, it's whatever. The game doesn't gloss over that fact. So anyway, we're just going to sort of move up here. Break open this lock. I beefed my jump cancel, whatever. And now we're going to do some extra damage to the hand here, because for the most of this fight, we're actually going to be fighting against Yinu's mother. And Zook's, like, max combo finisher has such upward reach that we can actually do some early damage to the hand there for the next phase. And then, by the way, if you hear me clicking there, despite the fact that I'm on controller, that's because if we can stand still, then, I completely lost my train of thought. Yeah, if we can stand still, then we'll be able to... Then I can use the shoot button on both the keyboard and on my controller to basically get double shoot mashing and just get through bosses as fast as possible. Here we're going to do some damage between cutscenes because we have an upgrade that makes it so that while Zook is transforming things, he cannot be knocked down. And we're going to try... I don't think we got enough damage in there to get the phase skip that I wanted. Oh, we absolutely did not. Either way, we're going to run in and take a bunch of damage here to try and trigger basically when there's an upgrade in this game, so that when you normally would die like that, there we managed to we will get dropped a bunch of health and ammo. But we did not manage to. Normally, if you during that cutscene transition that we just had there, if you get Yinu's mum's health low enough, then you won't have to knock the piano down a second time. It'll just go straight to the final phase. But at least the consolation to doing it this way is that you'll go into the final phase with less health. Am I making any sense? I feel like the words I'm saying make sense, but like I worry that it's just going to sound like gibberish to anyone else who is watching this. Okay, so basically we're just switching between characters to try and do as much range damage as possible. And there we go. That's Yinu's... That's the final phase of this fight down. And now this is another one where, as I say, there's a bit more gameplay after the showstopper, so we're not going to quit out immediately. Just gonna sort of watch this cutscene, and the next part of this after this is kind of an auto-scroller, so if we have any donations, this would actually be a good time to read them.
All right, no donations in yet, but I just want to remind everybody why the Trevor Project exists. So the majority of you choose to contact the Trevor Project rather than other providers because the organization is, LGBTQ affirming or trusted provider of crisis services. 90% of young people who reach out to the Trevor experience de-escalation from suicidal thoughts. One supportive person can decrease an LGBTQ youth risk of suicide by 30%. The Trevor Project always aims to be there for the LGBTQ youth in crisis with a clear message that they should be proud of who they are and they are not alone. So get your donations in for that Trevor Project. I mean, they are a beautiful and wonderful cause. So exclamation point donate will get you that donation page. And, there's some really cool incentives coming up, like the Battle Mania 2DX, all hard songs. Oh, I'm sorry, really hard songs. And the Super Monkey Ball Deluxe, that extra bonus run. So get those donations in, and back to you, Steb.
Absolutely, this is a wonderful cause. I'm really glad to be able to support it. Anyway, we're going into the second to last boss of the run here, which is Sayu, who's basically what if Hatsune Miku was a mermaid. That is essentially the concept. And this is one of the longer bosses in the run, and one of the more annoying ones in my experience, just because there's not really a whole lot that's, difficult going on with it, which just means that I don't practice it as much as the other bosses. Which ends up meaning that I mess up the silliest things, or the silliest things go wrong on me. So anyway, we're just sort of gonna be... Basically the gimmick with this fight is that because Sayu is a hologram, you're not actually fighting her, you're gonna be fighting her editor, her artist, her mocap artist, and her voice actor, who you can see there. Yeah, this game has a lot of, charm and character. Even if it does have some problems, they're relatively easy to overlook. Okay, so basically, even though it might be faster to do these bits as Zook, we're going to be doing them as Mayday, just so we have enough energy to go for 2 phase skips near the end. Okay, so we get a turret going, and we do some damage to that, which should mean that that panel is destroyed while we're over here. You maintain movement during those cutscenes. Basically, we have to hit these panels to sort of start attacking the main panel where Sayu's HP is actually stored. There we go, we hit that. Don't take any damage there. We get hit by, the data eel, whatever that thing is. I don't actually know what that is. Okay, so now we have access to the main panel. Oh, there we go. If I could actually do a jump cancel, there we go. Sorry, I'm just kind of vibing out to the music at the moment here. That mouse shows as being in the wrong place because I'm playing on windowed mode. Don't ask me why, it just happens. Okay, and now we're just going to keep going. Basically, we have to do that 3 more times, and then there's going to be a phase where we have to sort of run away from Sayu, and then after that we're going to have the actual, fight the boss phase. Ow. Ow. The data eel, again, every single time. Come on. Why did I switch back to Zook for this? That's actually, there is no reason to do that. You don't need Zook for this phase. Okay, this doesn't actually affect anything. Come on. Thankfully, we don't get hit through there, because Mayday, there we're going to use an ability called More Than One Transformer. Basically, you can every time you beat a boss, you unlock an ability for both Mayday and Zook, which can be bound to the shoulder buttons. We've seen the boomerang attack during 10-10. That's called Mars attacks. That's the first one you get. But this one, More Than One Transformer, it used to feature a lot during the run, but doesn't really anymore. Okay, so now that both of those went down, basically by doing all of those first few phases with Mayday, we could build up enough energy to go for 2 More Than One Transformer usages to just completely bypass those last 2 segments. Okay, so now we're just kind of running away from Sayu, who is launching somewhat of an all-out assault against us. And we're just going to sort of move back to the initial platform and then actually do some damage to the boss. They actually recently, in the most recent update, the Christmas update, and I'll show you why it's called that in a second, they actually patched this boss so that Zook's projectile mod actually hits her, because normally it doesn't hit the panels that she launches, that her health is, like, dependent on, rather, and instead it just kind of flies around doing nothing, but now it actually does hit, which makes this fight just a little bit faster. So yeah, we're going to go to this final platform, and then she's going to turn from a girl with the tail of a fish to a fish with, like, girl legs. There we go. Okay, so we fire off those projectiles, and then we parry these. We have an ability which makes it so that... Oh, I did not get a parry off because my game just kind of froze. So anyway, we're just going to parry there, get the last bit of damage that we need in, hit the showstopper, and then quit out of here. And now we're going to be going to the final boss of the run. It was also the quickest one, DJ Subatomic Supernova, who, I'm gonna do something here, even though it takes like a little bit of extra time out. It takes like a second. I'm gonna be showing you why this update is called the Christmas update, and I'm going to do the Christmas remix of this fight. If my game will load in. Okay. My game doesn't normally freeze for that long. I was worried I'd crashed. So now we set it to Christmas. And this fight is pretty short. Time's going to be coming up at the end of it. I've just realized I've gone in as Zook, which is not the optimal thing to do at all. So now basically we have Christmas remixes of the boss themes, as well as alternate designs for the boss, as well as Zook and Mayday. This boss is heavily projectile-based, which means we can abuse Mayday's skills that give her both more projectiles to work with, and also the fact that, she gets more projectiles from hitting things with melee attacks, and because the planets, or I guess baubles in this fight, are supposed to give projectiles on melee hits, they are going to give way more basically whenever we hit them with Mayday. And also we have a chance to regain projectiles every time we fire one. So Mayday basically has infinite ammo to work with. And if I'm just going to get one or two more off of here, and then this should be enough. And we're going to go into a final parry phase, and then time is going to be coming up. Okay, no, where are... This is actually a lot slower than it would normally be. I didn't get nearly as many projectiles as I should. Okay, there we go. So yeah, at the end of this phase, I'm going to hit one last showstopper, and then time is going to come up. And I completely beefed it, whatever. Fire some off, and then time. Sorry, that came kind of abruptly there, but that's the end of the run. I'm gonna let this final showstopper play out, just so y'all can see it. Normally we would just quit out of here, but yeah, that's the end of the run. We've defeated Christmas and EDM once and for all. That actually went surprisingly well, considering I haven't had as much practice as I'd like, and I am running on fumes. Sorry, if you said anything, I heard like one syllable of that. Okay.
Sorry, no, I was just saying GG.
All right,
that was a wonderful run to watch.
Thank you very much. I'm really glad it was that entertaining. What was the time on that, if I might ask?
It looks like 1950.
Oh, okay, all right. That's under 20 minutes. I'm happy. I'm more than happy with that for a marathon. Considering the amount of freezes and the fact that I missed the Yinu first phase skip and had kind of a rough Tatiana. That is absolutely... I'm more than happy with that. Thank you very much. This was a lot of fun, and I'm really glad I got to help out with a cause like this.
Yeah, absolutely. It was wonderful having you here. Anything else to say before we transition over?
I guess some shout-outs. Big shout-outs to the No Straight Road speedrunning community. We have a Discord. Shoutouts to RS Jacket, Tachia Streams, Zuka, and Momo Frog, the other All Bosses runners, as well as just the entire community in general. Shoutouts to Metronomic, the developers of this game. This game is absolutely wonderful. Probably my favorite game of the year. It just has so much charm in everything that it does. I absolutely recommend picking it up. It's on the Epic Games Store, PS4, Switch, and the Xbox. Shoutouts to all of my friends in the chat, everyone watching. Thanks for, making me feel like for the support. And yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say on that.
All right. Okay, so next game we have up is High Hell. So definitely stay tuned for that. It is 100% by, I hope I'm saying her name right, Dwego. You can check out the incentives by using !! incentives in chat. And then in order to, help us get those goals met, you can do !